we're gonna talk about our favorite horror movies and what we like about them. I talked about Halloween at length. You guys know that, but I don't need to talk about Halloween anymore. I'll actually let you go first because I already talked
Okay.
about my first one.
This is one of my favorite movies ever. It doesn't count as a horror movie. I don't know why people in the 70s were ever scared by this movie. My mother made me watch it to keep me out of the ocean, and it didn't scare me one bit, but I did enjoy it.
I know what it is.
I love Jaws. Jaws is amazing. The first one specifically. It got worse after every single sequel that they try to put out.
Like most movies.
Oh yeah, no, but the thing is, the dip in quality for Jaws is so exponential. Like Jaws 2 wasn't bad. It wasn't nearly as good as the first one, but it wasn't bad. Jaws 3 looks like the parody to a horror movie. Like,
Yep.
I'm not even joking. It's
Yep.
supposed to be 3D.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was
And
also 3D. It was like one of the first.
It was supposed to be 3D, so they would have sharks, like, not even CG'd. I'm trying to think of, like, the correct word for it. But they would be, like, very clearly out of place. And you would basically just, like, there would be, like, a tube underwater, and you'd see a shark very clearly out of place, looking like...
Yeah, it was.
And then eat the tube. It was so dumb. It was so bad. And then Jaws 4, while not as bad as Jaws 3, like Jaws 3, like I said, looked like a horror movie parody, and it wasn't trying to be, which made it really bad. Like, if it was trying to lean into the campiness and the stupidness of it, it wouldn't be as bad. It wasn't trying to be. It was trying to be a very serious movie and failed on all fronts. Jaws 4, while not as bad as Jaws 3, was still not very good. Like, at all.
What do you like so much about the first Jaws?
I feel like the more I talk about my favorite horror movies, the more it's just like they're all creature related. But like,
I like
I want
to talk about once you're finished.
I like horror monsters. I like the creatures, the monsters, and I don't know what the appeal is. I really don't. Like, I will spend. I think like over the summer, I did spend quite a bit of time looking at like creepy like artist renditions of like Godzilla, where like half of him would be like covered in like smoke or like clouds or something like that, so you can only see like it's almost like what you can't see of the creature is scarier than what you can. And for some reason I really like that aspect. I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
I know what it is. Well,
I'm glad you do.
For the cat seat part, for me, I wanted to mention that for me, what I like suspense. And like that feeling of unease in between jump scares. Like, I like that more so than I do the jump scare itself. There's this quote, I don't remember who said it, but they basically said that jump scaring someone to get them to be afraid is the equivalent of tickling someone so that they could laugh. Like,
right.
That's just a natural reaction that's gonna happen most of the time if you just jump scare someone, just like you tickle someone. But to actually build suspense and make someone feel afraid that something's about to happen, that's harder to do, and that's like true fear, and that's what I like. And to relate that to what you were saying, it's more of the I don't know, it's just like the idea of not knowing what it is just makes you excited, and you want to see what it is, but at the same time you don't, because you want to hold on to that feeling. Just like you don't. Like, I don't want the jump scare, but I do at the same time. But like, I want to hold on to this feeling in between, where I feel tense. Like, I'm playing a video game and I'm tense. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm walking through this dark hallway with this flashlight that's barely doing anything, and I know something's about to happen, but I don't know when. And that's what it is.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of more horror movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when it comes to like monsters, I like what I like about monsters is I like cool looking monsters. It's why I like Alien so much. I think the xenomorphs, I like their design a lot. They look really cool. And the first two Alien movies are two of my favorite horror movies. I'm not sure which one I like more. I watched Aliens, the second movie, on its anniversary like a month or two ago. And last Saturday I watched Alien. And Alien, both of them hold up really well. They're both amazing movies. And they're an example of that suspense that I like so much. And I like when, the monster or the killer stalks their prey, and it keeps you on your toes because you don't necessarily know what's going to happen.
Right.
And like I said, for me, it's the design. I like when they look interesting. And also when they, what makes, they don't always have to be, I'm trying to find a way to explain this. It's like Pennywise. He's a movie monster, except that his, powers, I guess, for lack of a better term, is just he's basically immortal. He's like a god of fear.
He's omnipotent. He's literally a god.
Yeah, he is. And his arch nemesis is a giant turtle, but that's besides the point. His true form is giant floating orange lights. Again, besides the point. The monster doesn't always necessarily have to be like the alien, where they're just like a physical threat. They could be like Pennywise, where they're like a mental threat. But I do prefer physical threats.
I'm trying to think of more horror movies. I don't like horror movies as much. I do like horror movies. I generally prefer slashers as far as horror movies go, just because I don't get scared with horror movies, and a lot of the time they wind up like underwhelming to me. But slashers, even though I won't get scared with them, they're always more fun.
They're always entertaining because, like I said, as weird as it is, you're there for the kills. You want to see people die. That's it sounds insane, but
it does. But it's
people die, and that's the point.
Right. Exactly.
That's why I love slashers. Speaking of something that leans into the campiness, like Jaws, or like you said, Jaws 3D tried to do, the Evil Dead series. I watched the anniversary of the first one was a couple weeks ago, and so I watched the first Evil Dead. But as soon as I finished the first Evil Dead, I immediately wanted to watch the second one. The first one is on Netflix. The second one is on Hulu. I couldn't find a third one anywhere without having to pay extra for it, so I didn't watch it. But the second one more so than the first one. They lean super into campiness, so much so that the TV show that's a sequel to the movies is 100% just a comedy because they know how goofy it is. It's also really good. The first season, at least. The second season started to dip out for me, so I stopped watching it. But the first season was good enough for me, and I didn't need to continue series anymore. Essentially, a dude. It's just still your stereotypical. You got the smart dude, the jock, like the cheerleader thing, like that, and the smart person. They all go to this cabin in the woods, and they get attacked by demons that are brought that are like souls brought back from hell by the Necronomicon, Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. So he basically, all his friends die, and he has to try and survive. And they don't immediately die, but they systematically get killed and possessed by the monster, and it's him trying to survive. And the second movie is weird because it retcons a lot of what happens in the first movie. Because the end of the first movie is the sun comes up, they can't be out in the sunlight. So the sun comes up, he's like, finally, I can leave. He goes to leave, and then this entity, they never show what it looks like. They always, it's just first person view of whenever it chases the person and it possesses them. They never show what it looks like. And it's going through from behind the house, through the back door, through the house, out the front door, and it grabs Ash, which is the name of the main character. And then that's it. That's the end of the first movie. The second movie picks up right after that, except that instead of picking up from right there, they essentially do a short 7-minute what is it called? Like a 7-minute catch up of the first movie, except they erase half the characters that were in the first movie. And it's literally just him and his girlfriend, who his girlfriend was recasted. And instead of it being like him and all of his sister and 2 other friends and his girlfriend, it was just him and his girlfriend. His girlfriend turns into a deadite, as they're called. He kills her. The movie, the sun comes up again. He gets possessed, and then the movie starts. And in this movie, naturally, more people come to the cabin in the second movie. And this one is way more campy than the first one. There's this really famous scene where he's in the room and objects in the room start laughing. It starts with a taxidermied deer head on the wall starts laughing. And then the lamp literally doubles over, like when someone holds their stomach when they laugh so hard, and the lamp starts laughing. and then everything in the room starts laughing, and then he starts laughing. He's just going insane. And the two best parts of the movie, I think, he fights his own hand because his hand gets possessed. So he cuts it off and he has to fight his own hand. It's a fantastic scene. And then since he lost a hand, he takes apart a chainsaw and rebuilds it into like a hand, so he could hold the chainsaw on his hand. And he like connects the cord to like a piece on his chest, so when he like does this and pulls his arm down, it starts the chainsaw. And then he has a shotgun that he saws off the double barrel shotgun. And that movie is fantastically campy, and I love every bit of it. It's a great movie series. It started off horror, and then it just went super campy, but while still maintaining a bit of that horror. Like you said, I'm not that big into like scary horror movies. I'm into like the slashers, and this wasn't a slasher; it was more spiritual. But it was just